What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and I'm gonna slightly apologize for the draft spam that was coming out. I didn't really like the quality of the videos that were coming out anyway. Like, my voice was kind of crap. I was doing it all at once, so I just figured what I was gonna do. I'd leave up the first 3 picks, the big picks, because those reactions were true, and I just figured it's probably best future. I couldn't do it tonight, which is why I didn't do it. I said all along my plan is just to do a stream during draft, and it's the easiest way just to talk about the draft, to shoot the shit with you guys. But tonight made the business decision. I wasn't gonna go to my regular setup where I would be able to do it. I only had one screen, so I felt it was easy just to stream the draft on one screen, and then when the pick was done, I do all my recording versus having 2 screens and be able to watch the draft and do like a live stream playing Madden or something with you guys, which will happen tomorrow night. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to just kind of, for those of you that didn't watch the couple videos, I got about half the draft picks, like up to like 16 or 17. I took those down. Just quick grades. I'm going to give out your grades, your first round grades for this year's NFL draft class. So without further ado, jump into the first overall pick. The Cleveland Browns selected Baker Mayfield, the quarterback out of Oklahoma. I'm giving this a B+. I feel like could have been higher, but I think just because of the Tyrod Taylor move, it doesn't make as much sense, because I think Baker Mayfield's one of the more pro-ready guys, doesn't necessarily need to have, to be eased in that redshirt season. So I just think because of the Tyrod move, I'm not as big a fan. If they would have got maybe a guy that needs that redshirt, so you get a twofer, you get the value from Tyrod on the roster, the maximum value from having Tyrod on the roster, and a young development, a quote, say like a Darnold type. So I'm going to B+, but again, Baker Mayfield is one of my favorite quarterbacks of this year's draft class. I'm definitely pulling for him, and I like the pick here from the Browns. So it's a very strong B+, trending towards an A. Go to pick number 2, the New York Giants, Saquon Barkley. I'm giving this a B-. I feel like when you're the Giants here and Darnold's still on the board, that has to be the option. Still relying on old man Eli Manning. And we're so relying on that offensive line to protect for Saquon Barkley. I mean, Saquon's one hell of a talent. That's why this is still in the B's, because, if anyone can make some plays behind that offensive line, it will be a player of Saquon Barkley's caliber. And if they eventually can build up that offensive line, Saquon Barkley is going to be one of the guys that can take the league over by storm. So there's always that worry from an Eagle fan looking in. But ultimately, I think with Darnold still on the board and their offensive line where it's at, Barkley is not the strongest pick the Giants could have made it to, even though he is the best prospect in the draft. Go number 3, the Jets select Sam Darnold. This is getting an A, not an A+. I don't think I gave it a single A+. I'm kind of extra critical. I'm just in a salty mood because the Eagles traded out, and the videos that I was doing kind of sucked. But Sam Darnold's getting an A. The Jets get, probably a guy they didn't think was still going to be there. I mean, maybe they did. Maybe everyone, outside of the draft community, outside of the GM's rooms knew that, maybe Mayfield was going to go. Some of these QBs were going to slip. But I think Darnold to the Jets makes a whole lot of sense. Gambling, once again, on a USC quarterback. Haven't done that since Mark Sanchez. So I'm giving them an A there. Even though they don't have the weapons right now, it's a good starting point for them. Pick number 4, the Browns stayed put. They got Denzel Ward, the corner from Ohio State. I'm giving this a B+. Good move. I think maybe trading down could have got maybe better value, but for Denzel Ward, best corner in the class. Looking at the Browns, needed a corner. I'm going to be very interested in that matchup with Antonio Brown within the division. So that's a strong B+. You know what? Screw that. We're going to change that B+. We're going to give them an A-. Going to the 5th pick, Denver Broncos selected Bradley Chubb, defensive end. So now the teams are going to have to worry and figure out a way to block Bradley Chubb and Von Miller. Now, Bradley Chubb coming in, best defensive end in a weak defensive end class. A little bit worried about his bend coming out of the combine. Usually, bad 3-cone drills kind of relate to not the best defensive ends. But Chubb's production cannot be ignored. I think he's going to be really, really good in the league. I think he has a really high floor, which is a compliment. I don't think he's ever going to be... He might not ever be an all-pro or a Pro Bowl type player, but I think worst-case scenario, he's a guy that's going to play a lot of snaps in the NFL. So I'm giving that a B+ for the Denver Broncos. Pick 6, we're going to the Indianapolis Colts. They actually got an A+. They got Quentin Nelson. Protecting Andrew Luck should have been priority number 1. They made it priority number 1. They got debatably the best player in the draft after Saquon Barkley. I think in terms of safe player, he's the safest, because the injuries are more likely to happen at the running back with Saquon. I think Quentin Nelson is the safest player in this draft. A+ for the Colts. Go to pick 7. The Buffalo Bills select Josh Allen, quarterback. They traded up to select Josh Allen. With Rosen still on the board, makes no sense to me. Personally, I'm higher on Josh Allen than most. I'm very intrigued with him. He has very similar skill sets athletically to Carson Wentz, and I know a lot of people have been shitting on Josh Allen because of low accuracy and stuff like that. I say, hey, he looks actually pretty good. But Rosen, for my money, was still the best quarterback in this year's draft class, and the fact that he was still on the board at 7, they took Allen over him, that's getting a C. Not a good pick, especially because they traded up. I don't get that. Not good value there for the Bills. in my opinion. But if they think he's the guy, then, you know, who am I to say? Pick 8, the Chicago Bears got Roquan Smith. I'm giving this a B+. Roquan Smith is a really good player, pro-ready, going to be able to start day one in the linebacking core. Good fit for the Bears. Yeah, I'm just one of those people that still think Kwiatkowski and Trevathan are a solid linebacking core. Not necessarily have the glaring need at inside linebacker, but I'm a big fan of Roquan Smith. It's a good pick. Pick 9, the San Francisco 49ers got Mike McGlinchey. I'm giving this a C+. A little bit of a surprising pick here, considered, you know, who's still on the board, be it, you know, maybe you look at someone like, you know, Tremaine Edmonds. Maybe you look at someone like Jair Alexander at corner. But you go and get Mike McGlinchey, who I think is a first-round talent. I don't think he's a top 10 talent right now. You look at the tackle, you got Trent Brown and Joe Staley. Clearly, this is like planning for the future, I would assume. Maybe coming to compete for right tackle. I just think if McGlinchey was the guy, they probably could have traded down and selected him in the late teens. So I just don't think they're the best value, so that's a C+. Arizona at pick 10 got Josh Rosen. That is getting an A. Best quarterback in my opinion in this year's draft class. Not by a long shot, but I do think that he was my... If I was needing a quarterback, it'd be really tough between him and Mayfield for me. But Rosen to Arizona to get their quarterback. He can sit behind Sam Bradford, or whenever Bradford gets hurt, he can come in and play. He doesn't. I don't think he needs the training wheels that some of these other QBs need. So, you know, future's bright for Arizona. If Rosen can be everything he wants to be, you got David Johnson, who's a freak athlete, a freak running back. Maybe he'll be able to bring back Larry Fitzgerald for another year if he wants to play with Josh Rosen. So there's that going for him, so that's an A. Pick 11, the Miami Dolphins got Minkah Fitzpatrick. That's a B, a very solid B. I think the pairing of him and Rashad Jones in the safety core is very, very nice. Pick 12, we have Tampa Bay. They got Vita Vea. I'm giving that a B+. The Bucs went from having a trash defensive line to now having Vita Vea, Gerald McCoy, Vinny Curry, and JPP. That's very interesting. Gonna have to wait and see what that develops into. But I like the move here. Vita Vea, great pick. Maybe more suited for a 3-4, but has the great athletic ability that he's pretty much, you can't pencil him in as a pure nose tackle. I think he can play through, you know, any scheme. He's not scheme dependent. Pick 13, the Redskins probably pissed that they took Vea. The Bucs a pick before them, but they get Deron Payne. I'm giving that a B-. I think, you know, I just feel like that was kind of a panic. Clearly Vea was their guy, so they just went, oh wait, we're getting the next best defensive tackle rather than reevaluating their boards. But hey, you get the familiarity of some of the Alabama players there with Jonathan Allen, Ryan Anderson. They need to get better at run defense. Payne's going to do that. So B-, still not a bad grade. Pick 14, the Saints traded 2 first-round picks to come up to 14. They selected Marcus Davenport from Texas San Antonio. C-. Now, I don't want to be one that comes to outright question the Saints, because last year's draft class that they had was one of the best I've ever seen, so maybe they know something we don't. But I think getting a project-type player here, if you're trading up for one, Trey and Edmonds need to be the pick, because they still need to get better at linebacker. Even though they brought in Demario Davis, you know, Manti Te'o's not really a long-term option. And plus you get the outside linebacker ability of Edmonds, who can play inside and outside. There's versatility there. Davenport is a project edge rusher. Very high ceiling, I can admit that. And obviously the Saints love his ceiling. But I think trading 2 first rounds for a guy that's a project, and anytime we talk about a project player, that bust tag is not too far behind, that bust potential. Very surprising pick here from the Saints, so that's a C-. Pick 15, the Raiders got Colton Miller at tackle. I'm giving that a C. I had tackle as an alternative pick when I did my final mock draft for the Raiders, so I thought it might be on the board. But with Tremaine Edmonds, the linebacker being the biggest glaring need for the Raiders, Tremaine Edmonds, who most people thought was going to be the first linebacker selected, still there, and you get Colton Miller, a project tackle. This is you know, I'm giving it, I think because the tackle is a secondary need, I'm not going to hate on as much maybe say as the Davenport pick for the Saints, but I'm giving it a C. Definitely could have got better there. At pick 16, the Buffalo Bills got Tremaine Edmonds from Virginia Tech. This is an A. They need to get better at the linebacking core. They kind of whiffed a little bit, in my opinion, on the Josh Allen pick, but they completely redeemed themselves here by being able to get Tremaine Edmonds. He's going to be a perfect fit for Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott's going to be able to develop him, hopefully into the second coming of Luke Kuechly if you're a Bills fan. So there you go. I mean, different type players, but you know what I'm saying. Pick 17, the Chargers got Derwin James from Florida State. I'm giving this a B+. You know, they didn't re-sign Trey Boston with a solid year last year, and you know, this is probably why they knew they'd be able to get a Derwin James right where they're picking, and Derwin James is going to be a day one starter. Him and Jaleel Addae make up maybe one of the most underrated secondaries in the NFL with Casey Hayward and Jason Verrett, and you got Williams, I think is his name. They got some playmakers back there. So now you had Derwin James in the mix, who can also play a little bit of linebacker, which is another position in need for the Chargers. They want to get versatile back there with the Swiss Army knife. Makes sense. Good pick. B+, actually. Going to pick 18, the Packers got Jair Alexander from Louisville. I'm giving this a B. You know, more of a scheme fit than, say, Josh Jackson, who's a popular name. And I really do think if he didn't have the injuries, Alexander would be much more in that conversation pre-draft with Josh Jackson and Denzel Ward. So I like that pick for the Packers. Pick 19, Dallas Cowboys got Leighton Vander Esch from Boise State. I'm giving this a B+. I was kind of hoping he was going to fall to my Philadelphia Eagles. Ultimately, when you look at the Cowboys defense, they lost Hitchens, and they have Sean Lee, who's aging, and not only is he aging, he's injury prone. And when Sean Lee goes down, that defense is absolutely terrible. So a guy like Leighton Vander Esch can be his understudy and fill in when there's injury, so that's a good pick. Pick 20, the Detroit Lions got Frank Ragnow, center from Arkansas. Very safe prospect, but maybe not the prospect a lot of people wanted. So I'm just giving this a C+. It's a strong C+, trending towards a B-. It's a good fit, build up that offensive line, but maybe they could have got better value here, potential, at least face value. Pick 21, the Cincinnati Bengals got Billy Price, offensive lineman. He can play center and guard from Ohio State. I'm giving this a B. Bengals had to go offensive line. You get versatility with Billy Price. It's been pretty much, it seems like for the last 5 years, one of the best offensive linemen in college. It's an exaggeration. That's a good value pick. Pick 22, the Tennessee Titans got Rashaan Evans, linebacker from Alabama. I'll give that a B. You know, nothing wrong with that. Pretty much straight up replacement for Avery Williamson. It's a decent pick for the Tennessee Titans, a team that does not have a lot of holes. Pick 23, the New England Patriots select Isaiah Wynn, who they announced as a tackle. Undersized tackle from Georgia. Everyone thought he was going to make the transition to guard. I'm giving this a C+ right now, because when you look at the Patriots, they needed a tackle if they're going offensive line, and Isaiah Wynn's kind of on like the outskirts of a tackle. Especially, you know, I don't know what's going on with Connor Williams. I thought he was best tackle in the class. Proves, I guess, I don't know what's going on. And I thought Isaiah Wynn would be better utilized as a guard that could play tackle in case of emergency. So I'm not quite sure what the Patriots are thinking on that, so that's a C+. 24, Carolina Panthers got DJ Moore. I'm giving that a B+. Excellent compliment to their wide receiver core, what they have in Devin Funchess, and I'm all about wide receivers that can complement each other. So I like that. Pick 25, the Baltimore Ravens got tight end Hayden Hurst from South Carolina. I'm giving this a B-. It was one of those needs when I was talking to Raven fans doing my mock draft. They wanted a tight end because Dennis Pitta retired. I didn't think it was an immediate need for them, however, and for them to invest their first pick in a tight end. It is Hayden Hurst. He's probably the most complete tight end that was considered a first-round prospect. Not a bad pick. That's why it's a B-. It's not terrible. But, you know, wide receiver, maybe a Calvin Ridley type. Could have been better here. Pick 26, we have the Atlanta Falcons. Speaking of Calvin Ridley, they got him. They're getting an A-. Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones, if you're a team in the NFC South, I'd be a little bit worried right now. That is going to probably be an even better offense. An offense that didn't need to get any more big-time playmakers, just got debatably the best wide receiver in this year's draft. So that's pretty worrisome. Pick 27, the Seattle Seahawks got Rashad Penny, running back from San Diego State. Probably the biggest surprise, maybe with the Saints Davenport pick in the first round. Penny, I'm giving it a C, just because Penny was labeled as like that mid-round potential Kareem Hunt type player. And, you know, really, if you're comparing him to Kareem Hunt and think he could beat Kareem Hunt, well, then couldn't you justify spending a first-round pick? Like, wouldn't Kareem Hunt, if everyone had the hindsight, be a first-round pick last year? So if that's kind of the valuation, I could see it. I mean, first round, 27, who are we to say it's going to be a bad value pick? So I think Penny has the potential to be a good running back. That's why I'm not going to just give it like an F or something like that, because a lot of people thought he's going to go in the third. But we'll have to wait and see how that one develops. Pick 28, the Pittsburgh Steelers got Terrell Edmonds, Tremaine Edmonds' brother from Virginia Tech, the safety. Give that a C-, man. That's probably the biggest gap in value out of any pick. I kind of had him as a third, fourth round pick. He's a great athlete, good size, but still kind of a project, a little bit like Jabril Peppers in terms of his coverage ability going to the NFL. I think it's going to be a little bit of a work in progress, but his ceiling is high, so I'm not completely going to write it off, but a C- is, you know, tied for the worst grade that you're going to get here for Pittsburgh. But hey, shout out to Ryan Shazier. Going to pick 29, the Jags got Taven Bryan from Florida. I'm giving this a C+. The only way I can justify this is because the Jags are eventually going to be in cap hell. There's only so many years you can get the top free agents and not having to bite you in the ass. So if they view that the defensive line is going to be expendable, be it Malik Jackson or Marcel Darius, and this pick makes sense long term. But originally, you know, they're kind of pulling the Philadelphia Eagles, just getting another defensive tackle, get of a crazy rotation. Might have been able to get better value, say, on the offensive line. But I do like Taven Bryan, Gator bias, C+. Pick 30, the Minnesota Vikings got Mike Hughes from UCF. I'm giving this a B-. I like the pick. I think maybe Isaiah Oliver could have been a better pick at corner, but clearly they're trying to address the nickel spot right away because they're giving up on MacKenzie Alexander. So if that's the case, it makes sense. So maybe give that a B, B-, somewhere like that. It's a fringe B-. Pick 31, we have the New England Patriots, who got Sony Michel, the running back from Georgia. Give us a C+. Don't understand why they went back-to-back offense. Did you watch the Super Bowl? Did you see how the Patriots were terrible on defense, yet they go back-to-back offense when they have 2 first-round picks? Both their positions, not necessarily at need. If you consider Isaiah Wynn a guard and so Michelle, you have Rex Burkhead, you have James White, you just brought in Jeremy Hill. You have a stable of running backs. Why add another one? You know, if you want to get another running back, fine. It's a running back heavy draft. Get one in the 3rd, 4th round. You have multiple picks. Hell, even wait to the 2nd round. So Michelle at 31. I mean, he's a great player. That's why it's still a C+. But in terms of where he's going to fit the Patriots, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. And at pick 32, my Philadelphia Eagles, I think, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the trade right now. Maybe I'll reassess it tomorrow morning. I'll probably have an Eagles video tomorrow morning about it. The trade with the Ravens. The Ravens got up and got Lamar Jackson, quarterback from Louisville. I'm giving this an A-. It's a change of culture. About time they either get Joe Flacco hot on his heels to start to perform and live up to his contract, or you know, he's done. 2019 is going to be Lamar Jackson here. The only thing I don't understand is I know they got the 5th-year option now because they're able to select Lamar Jackson in the 1st round. But do you wait a year? Like, do you have Joe Flacco play this year out, and then next year you make the entire transition and scheme change to Lamar Jackson? Or do you do it this year? Do you say, Flacco, you know, you have to earn your starting spot. If not, we're going Lamar Jackson. So we don't essentially waste a year, you know, trying to transition the offense to best suit him. That's something that's definitely going to be interesting to see come the preseason. So there you go, guys. Those are some quick first-round grades for all the first-round picks here in the NFL Draft. Let me know what you guys think about your favorite team's picks in the comment section below. As always, your first time stopping by, thank you for tuning in to Draft Central. Live stream will be coming up today or tomorrow, whatever you guys are watching this. So I hope you guys can tune in to that. Follow me on Twitter at PapaXC4 for all the updates. It's your first time stopping by. Don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace